And let's sort of spend time talking about King Kohli. So what did you make of the innings? Siddhant, start.
I think 50 much needed, but his strike rate was, I think the RCB should have at least got 20 more runs. And that's because that's on Kohli. 58 or 53 is not good enough when Rajat Patidar at the other end was scoring at a 160 strike rate.
Yeah. Has it cost them the game?
Could very well have. Like, we don't know what will happen because RCB also will bowl now. And maybe the pitch isn't that great for batting. But considering the way a few of those shots went from Lomror and even Glenn Maxwell, I think they are 20 runs short.
See, he's finally back, 58. Yes, the cheer that went around Brabham was evident. Like, they wanted this knock. But yet again, see how he got out. The pace. He just couldn't, he missed the Yorker totally. A low dipping full toss in his prime, he could have squeezed it.
No, but that's a great ball.
Really
that was a great ball.
But again, just 6 boundaries, 1-6, and
the 6 boundaries is fine, but I think
because he started with 5 boundaries in the middle stage,
and then
he
really
just could not
off.
accelerate.
Yeah,
there were few dot balls in there.
Few too many dot
So
balls.
what do you make of the innings? Is it match-winning inning? Does it cost them the game? What is it?
I think gut instinct says yes. It will cost them the game because
Cost them the game.
yes.
Yeah, like
because they needed to be 190 because I don't think there are any demons in this wicket. It's a concrete slab.
Like everyone else's strike rate, except for I think maybe one person who got a 66 strike rate got out. That was DK, got out quick. But everyone else was striking it very well. So Kohli was the only one who was actually kind of struggling with it.
DK 2 runs, 3 balls. You can't really count his strike
But
rate.
the thing is that with DK,
Then Duplessis is what 0 of 4.
Before the game, the broadcasters were showcasing that DK has 2 obvious weaknesses. 1, Yorker. 2, the googly from a leg spinner. See who got him today, Rashid. And how did he get him?
with a
With
googly.
Virat Kohli, what do you make of that innings? Match-winning?
No, definitely not match winning. It would have been match winning if he had scored at a much quicker rate and then maybe But I don't know. That 58 is good for India and good for maybe you're looking at the bigger picture of things because it's good to see him among the runs. But it's not the best of knocks for RCB. They are about 20.
And even Kohli would know this. Kohli would know that he took too many balls.
And see, looking at the people who got to double figures, all are over 150 the strike rate.
Yeah.
No, Lomror and even
What that tells you
Maxwell.
is that the conditions weren't tough to bat on. It was a good stroke-filled sort of a pitch where if you played your strokes, you could get a strike rate of 150, 160
Comfortably,
easily. I'm just looking at everyone else. See, if it was a sluggish pitch, slowish pitch, you would understand. So in that regard, 109 strike rate. Also, 109 strike rate, if you had got 10-15 runs, would have still been okay. But if you've got 50 plus at that strike rate, that's worrying because you've used 53 balls. What you usually tends to happen, everyone starts about 110, 120.
But you pick it
But
up.
if you get 50, then you expect you would have gone past 130, 140 at the minimum in T20 cricket. That has not happened with Virat Kohli.
Yep.
The other thing that if you take a look at what Virat has done, I think Shane pointed that out, that Virat Kohli in the larger scheme of things, and I'm now talking as a fan of cricket and an Indian fan, I would have wanted a big knock from Virat. This 50 has been a long time coming, so I'll take it no matter at what strike rate. So the larger good is there, I agree. Having said that, if this had come a couple of matches earlier, it would have been slightly okay because then you're looking at from RCB's perspective, you have to see because the season is on the line. The fact that if this inning goes on to result in an RCB loss at this stage, then there is an issue because this 50 2-3 games ago, even if you lost, it's okay. Your main man is back into form. You would take it. If I was RCB, I would say fine. 50 means Virat Kohli has got some run, he's coming back into form, I'll take the loss. Today, if this inning results in a loss, I'm not sure that RCB would take it because that then jeopardizes their chance of making it to the top 4.
See, classic case, Kohli had hit 5 boundaries by the 6th or 7th over. And when did he get dismissed? In the 17th over. He just hit a boundary under 6 and he was struggling. Look at Maxwell. He had 8 runs of 9 balls, but in the next 9 he went on a rampage. So it was not as if once you got in, you struggled. No.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite of Virat Kohli.
Maxwell also was trying way too much. I thought reverse lap and all. He hit sixes through conventional shots, right?
But even on a day where Maxwell wasn't looking like the Maxwell we know, he's got a strike rate of 183.
Yeah, 33 of 18. I said it.
Yeah.
I think that Kohli knock, yes, we'll have to see how Gujarat also bat.
Because see, this is a good bowling lineup that RCB have. I mean, Harshal is there, Hazelwood. Hasaranga on this deck will be a very big proposition.
No, so for RCB's sake and for the sake of cricket in general, I would want them to win because then there will be less scrutiny of that Virat Kohli knock. And the added advantage is the man has got some runs, so there is an indication that he may be getting back to form gradually. And you can understand, like I'm just seeing from his point of view, we realize that he must be feeling the pressure. You saw the way he was batting. That was clearly not the conventional Virat Kohli we know. Runs not coming is another matter, but the manner in which he was batting, you kind of had a feeling that he's feeling some sort of pressure from the outside. This inning was definitely needed to ease that pressure, and it may have very well done that. And so you give him that leeway that it's one of those first innings that he's played where he's got some runs. So understandably his strike rate will not be very high. So you agree on that and you will take it. I as an Indian fan will take this. But I'm just looking at it from RCB's perspective. If they were to lose this game, there'll be a lot of scrutiny about that strike rate. I hope they win.
I have another point to make. I thought it was the farming of the strike where Kohli could not get singles also.
Yes.
You look at Rajat Patidar. He hit 5 fours and 2 sixes. His strike rate is more than 160, right? Kohli hit 6 sixes and 1 4. His strike rate is still less than 110. 6 fours and 1 6, and still less than 110 strike rate.
And that's also worry because Kohli is someone who's very good at rotating the strike.
No, so I'm saying Patidar played 21 balls less than Kohli and scored only 6 less runs than Kohli.
Virat Kohli's inning. Let's start with Shane this time.
No, see the thing was, again, as I said, broad on the bigger picture, if you're looking at it as an Indian fan, great news, he finally got runs. But again, that 58 was scored at too slow a pace. If he had to be there that long, he had to kick on after a point, maybe after getting 30-40 runs, say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go bang at this point, because more so than my team form, it's all my own form, my team needs those runs. Because this looked like a very good batting track. I mean, it says a lot that Gujarat barely broke a sweat after a point. So it was a very good batting track. They lost a few early wickets, but of course, the fact that AB Tewatia, I don't know why I'm calling him that, Rahul Tewatia and Killer Miller did the job. It's embedded in my head at this point.
He's doing it for fun now.
It's like AB Tewatia is his name now.
Yeah.
He's doing it for
We've forgotten his first name is Rahul. So anyway.
Naam to suna hi hoga.
So he would be saying that to pretty much every team at this point. He's done it to all of them. So that's the thing. That innings in hindsight just looks like, good amount of runs, scored too slow, and questions will further be asked.
And yet again, if I have to look at RCB's bowling, if Hazelwood doesn't fire, they are in big trouble.
Come back to Virat Kohli.
So Virat Kohli, as I said, gut instinct told me that
he was quickly trying to patli gali se.
No. Patli gali se nahi. I made it very
clear. Bowling. You know what? Hazelwood's bowling. Come back to the
Virat Kohli. I had said that in the mid innings, I think it didn't benefit RCB. It was not going to help them win because 58. Okay, again we get totally immersed with those numbers. Oh yes, he got a 50. But I disagreed with KL Rahul's here. Strike rate is overrated. No, strike rate makes a big difference. Because among the top,
did RCB lose? Okay, both
simple
because
question.
Shane has answered. Today, did RCB lose because of Virat Kohli's strike rate?
Yes.
Absolutely.
No
ways about it.
Yes.
Go ahead. Your whole analysis of Virat Kohli's innings.
I think it was slow. Of course, I pointed that out in that mid-innings break that we were discussing. That 58 or 53 balls isn't just good enough when you have played that many balls. And a guy who has hit similar number of boundaries as you has batted at a 160 strike rate and you have only batted at less than 110. I know that did make a huge difference. But I also have to say, I thought they're always 20 runs short, and that has to be.
But one of the reasons they were 20 runs short was because of batsmen.
80% is the reason I'm saying.
Who batted 50 odd balls and was only scoring 50 odd runs.
If somebody calls me Virat Kohli hater,
that's okay. You have to call a spade.
I'm just going to say, you look at his numbers and you realize, yes, great thing that he has scored a 50, but it did cost his side a lot of quick runs.
9 overs, Virat Kohli batted for 9 overs, he scored 58. The remaining 11, 112. So they had to play catch up in that sense. Look at how simple, if I have to look at it. the youngster Rajat Patidar led the way. He was the more aggressive of the lot.
52 or 30.
Kohli yet again, after the power play, he got caught. Whether should I attack, should I stick in? Got caught in those two.
Lomrod himself also played a good little knock later on.
16
So
of 8.
quick.
So
large
let me
ball
tell everyone that Siddhant, as I know, is one of the big Virat Kohli fans, and he's just pointing out what he's seen, and that's what our job is, to call a spade and comment on what we've seen. If I was to look at the inning in totality, I'll see it two ways. If I was to see it as an Indian cricket fan, I'd be happy that he's finally got himself some runs. I can understand why he may have batted this way, because he's been woefully out of form, and as we've been talking, it's not just about any technical issues. You could see that he was very anxious before this inning, so he clearly needed to settle down and get a good total. So if I was also in Virat Kohli's place, what would be the best way for me to get runs? Not by slogging, but by spending time on the crease and getting a total, some runs under my belt, so that I can take that confidence going forward. So I think with that in mind, Virat did exactly what was expected out of him. Probably I would have done the same, right? But what does it come at the cost of his team losing? Because today, as has been pointed out before, I think if anyone was to look at this scorecard, or if you were to look at the game, it's pretty obvious that RCB was a few runs short. The pitch was conducive for stroke making, as you saw with all other batsmen, and then that total should have been a few more runs than what they actually gave Gujarat Titans to chase. Now, has it put RCB's playoff hopes in jeopardy? I would say yes, because now it gets very tough. I would ideally like this kind of a knock. If Virat had to play this kind of a knock to get back into form, it should have come maybe 3-4 games earlier.
True.
Because at that time the table was wide open. A loss here and there would have helped RCB to bounce back. Now you're in a situation where even if you win all, which is firstly a tough ask to going forward, even if you were to win all, you may still not qualify. So what cost does it come at? And knowing Virat Kohli is a team man, would you take your personal form, which you may have gained today, would you take it at the cost of your team being knocked out of the IPL? Now that's a catch-22 situation, and this is something that he's going to ponder over for a very long time. I think the only other positive I can see from here, because they have to win all games, rather than taking any pressure, if he's taken some confidence from this knock, play that attacking cricket, going forward. We have nothing to lose, you have to win all games, play that attacking cricket, and not just look at number of runs you've got, because now there is a 50 under your belt, and he needs to open. Because the other thing that really came out of this particular knock was that when the power play was on, he could get runs much quicker than when the field spread out. That's when he really struggled to push his tempo up.
Yeah, I was just saying, see, 58 or 53 in an IPL game, okay. We are all saying that maybe Indian fans will be happy. I don't think they will be. They'll be pretty nervous. Because in an international game, he might get caught out. 58 or 53.
No, but the point was that maybe, I'm not saying he'll continue playing like that. I'm saying sometime when you got your runs, you start discovering your mojo back, and then he gets back to that level. I agree.
So,
not with this standard of play. He'll get caught out, as you're pointing out.
And doubly so if he has to play. If he's playing for India, he's not playing as an opener. If you're batting, if you're going to come in that middle over,
Rohit and Virat KL at
open
3.
and KL at 3.
But it would be unfair on KL, who's been
I agree.
good as an opener.
I agree that it's going to be a tough
KL
call.
has had great success even at 3.
At 4.
At 4. Yeah.
But I would still, in T20s, you're playing with KL as an opener.
Yeah, I don't think that changes.
Again, it's anyway, you could go anyway. I agree that there's enough case to be made for both things. One, that maybe you can get the best out of Virat as an opener, but again, it'd be unfair for KL not to open a position where he's done very well. Again, as I said, there is no right or wrong there. You could have gone either way.